What is up, guys? It is AJ from MMA Experts, and this is the Davison Figueiredo versus Alex Perez. What actually happened? The full fight breakdown. Let's talk about it. On the feet early, we saw Davison Figueiredo actually caught by a very nice strike by Alex Perez. Granted, Figueiredo is very intelligent to avoid getting attacked with the leg kicks, switch to the southpaw stance, which seemed to throw Perez just a bit, but granted, Perez then started wrestling, looks to get the fight to the mat, does get the fight to the mat, and Davison Figueiredo, though, I mean, this guy is so dangerous in all positions. Even if you think you have his back for a second, he turns around and gets a guillotine choke, and it was over. That was it. 1 minute 57 seconds of round one. Now, I don't believe it was a fight IQ mistake by Alex Perez. I think that's just simply how good Davison Figueiredo is everywhere. The guy can strike, and the man can grapple at the highest of levels. I think Davison Figueiredo right now is probably the most scary flyweight we've ever seen. I mean, granted, yes, Henry Cejudo was an awesome flyweight, but I don't know. I think Davison Figueiredo has something special. The jiu-jitsu that he has, the striking power, the knockout in his hands power that he has is special. I would have loved to see him versus Mighty Mouse. I mean, if you see those two go in there in their primes, that would have been a crazy fight. And I think there's a case to be made that Figueiredo potentially is the greatest featherweight we've seen right now. And we'll see with his next fight. He's fighting Brandon Moreno on very quick turnaround. He's going to be fighting him in, I believe, 3 weeks. So that's going to be a very sick UFC 256 card with Figueiredo on the event. I mean, I'm very happy to see it. Big fan of Figueiredo. Love the flyweight division. Alex Perez, though, he will be back. Even though he didn't last long, I was impressed by how he was doing while it lasted. I don't think he was completely outmatched in there. He is a game fighter at 125 pounds. I believe he could eventually make another run towards a title shot. As far as next opponents to him, we can quickly pull up the flyweight division rankings, and I can see somebody that I feel would be deserving of that challenge. I mean, he's just coming off a dominant win over Jussier Formiga. We saw Brandon Royval lose by shoulder injury earlier in the night. I'm kind of thinking maybe, just maybe, Brandon Royval takes on Alex Perez, two guys coming off high-profile losses. That could potentially be it. But if not that, I do think Askar Askarov versus him would be an intriguing bout. And I think I would like to see that as well. So I would say those are two options, either Royval or Askarov. Both could be fun fights. I think that there's opportunities for, either Royval to beat Perez. I think there's a chance Perez beats Royval with Askarov. I think it could go either way. It's really a lot of fun matchups here in the flyweight division. And slowly, I believe the flyweight division is becoming one of the most fun weight classes in the UFC. The more talent that is getting signed, the more talent that is coming up on the regional scene. Keep your eye on the flyweight division, guys. I really believe it is an epic weight class. And I love the division. Now, we won't just talk about the main event. We will go down through the entire card. If you guys just were here for the main event, that is it for the main event portion. But I want to go through pretty much every fight and just kind of talk about, a recap. Just give you the results, what I thought of some of the fights. We can quickly talk about the co-main event. Valentina Chefchangko dealt with a little bit of adversity in the second round. Nothing substantial. She still is victorious dominantly. Wins the fight on all three judges' scorecards, 49-46, deservingly so. She looked really good. And granted, yes, there were moments that Jennifer Maia was very tough. And granted, Jennifer Maia is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt that is super strong and thick girl. She's not a girl that gets finished. And that's why we saw a competitive fight between the two. And I don't think it's any knock on Valentina Chefchangko's skill set at all. I just genuinely believe Jennifer Maia was a lot better than people give her credit for. And even me personally, I feel I didn't give her enough credit going into it. I did believe she would probably get stopped, but she's way more durable than I would have expected, and her grappling game is very dangerous. And obviously, Valentina, though, won 4 of the 5 rounds. We got to give credit where it's due. The naysayers are going to come in and say Valentina's overrated. She's not that good. Just because she didn't kill a girl in two rounds with a crazy head kick and put her unconscious does not mean she's not the most dominant female 125er, period, and maybe could potentially fight Amanda Nunes once again. But I do believe Jessica Andrade is next. Andrade versus Chefchangko is a very fun fight, and I really am excited to see that matchup. Now, moving down, we saw Tim Means, Mike Perry. Mike Perry missed weight. Tim Means looked good, sharp. He did lose the first round. Mike Perry's grappling, definitely underrated. I believe Mike Perry needs a coach. I really do. The guy has so much potential. He has so much power in his hands, but you can tell he has not had the coaching that he once had, and the timing is a bit off. The grappling looked great, but the striking needs some practice, some poise. I think he needs a coach. I really think Mike Perry, if he sees this video, maybe consider getting a coach, because you have the elite level ability. You have all the tools. Why not push it to that level? Get a coach that you can work with, because I guarantee you somebody's out there that he can work with. Tim Means, great performance, veteran status. He did what a veteran should do. Before that, Katlyn Chookagian, big upset over Cynthia Calvillo. Dominant performance. All three judges, 30-27. Destroyed her from the outside. She looked fantastic. I think Chookagian is still in the mix for a title shot, even after that tough loss to Andrade. Paul Craig over Shogun. Paul Craig is moving up. I think Shogun is moving out. I think potentially let's talk about a Shogun retirement or one last final fight. Please be it against somebody not in the top 15. I think Dana White agrees. He did mention that as well. Brandon Moreno, Royval. Moreno is now going to be fighting for the belt. Royval still a contender to keep an eye on. Joaquin Buckley, Jordan Wright. I actually thought you could have gave the performance bonus potentially to Davison, but they like Joaquin Buckley. He did get a pretty sweet knockout, and he's a likable character. He's a guy that comes to fight. He's always entertaining. Joaquin Buckley has earned himself a good amount of money in these past 2 months, and he's a fun guy in the middleweight division. Jordan Wright takes his first official defeat, but he was defeated on the Contender Series before it was overturned to a no contest by Anthony Hernandez. Prior to that, Valentina Chefchangko looked better than ever, dominates Ariana Lipski. Chefchangko is another girl to keep an eye on. I believe she could make a run. Granted, her sister's the champion, so she probably would never fight her sister. I would guarantee she never would. But still will be in the top of the 125-pound division. She looked very good against Lipski. Dominant performance. Nicholas Dalby, Daniel Rodriguez. My opinion, I thought Rodriguez could have got the nod. I know DC said the same, but I could see why they gave it to Dalby potentially. I don't know. Weird fight there. Weird scoring, but they did give it to Nicholas Dalby. Alan Jouban, Jared Gooden. Alan Jouban. Jared Gooden's a beast, and Alan Jouban was actually able to sit in there and put up a competitive fight and win that fight. He was able to outwork and really out-technique Jared Gooden, who's an absolute powerhouse. I think Gooden just needs to work a bit more in his angles, get some more experience, but I think Jared Gooden is a potential threat. I mean, he's got a lot of knockout power. He hits with bad intentions, and he can take a punch, because Alan Jouban cracked him with some beautiful strikes. Jouban looked excellent, though. Kyle Dawkins dominates Dustin Stoltzfus. Stoltzfus always game, always tough, goes the distance, takes everything his opponents throw at him. Kyle Dawkins, kid to keep an eye on, 10-1 as a pro. He's really developing nicely. And in the first fight of the night, the biggest upset on the card, Luis Cosey is defeated by Sasha Paletnikov. Wow. Third round TKO. Cosey looked to have him out of there in the first. Gasses himself out. Sasha Paletnikov gets a TKO in the third, makes it go late. Paletnikov is game. He is legit, and he is very fun to watch. He said to Joe Rogan, he's the most interesting man in MMA. I like Paletnikov's style, and I like his personality. He's going to be a fighter that I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on. He's really fun to watch. For Luis Cosey, he'll definitely be back. He just needs to control his pace. That's it. It's a simple fix, but it's just going to be something he has to get used to, because he's used to just destroying everybody in one round. Luis Cosey, though, he'll be back with Sasha Paletnikov. Very fun fighter. This whole UFC 255 card was awesome. The performance bonuses, if I would have gave them, I would have went Figueiredo. I probably would have definitely gave fight of the night. Probably would have to be Paletnikov, Cosey potentially. But granted, there's so many good fights on the entire card. You really could give fight of the night to Jared Gooden and Alan Jouban. There was a ton of awesome fights. I mean, the card was stacked with good fights. I really can't complain. I know Joaquin Buckley got the Knockout of the Night award. Fair, I would say. Brandon Moreno, Royval had a great grappling exchange up until the unfortunate injury end. And I'm excited to see the next cards coming up, always. I'm excited to see the quick turnaround for the champion Figueiredo to take on Brandon Moreno. Gonna be some awesome fights in the next coming weeks. What a great card UFC 255 was, and how blessed are we to be able to see the champ, Davison Figueiredo, defend his belt against the #1 contender in just 3 weeks from now. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Also, guys, follow my social media, Instagram, Twitter, and I'll see you all in the next video.